Section 3.6, decimal numbers and fractions. Okay, we're going to change decimal numbers to fractions and change fractions back to decimal numbers, and then simplify expressions with both decimal numbers and fractions. Okay, to change a decimal number to a fraction, a decimal number less than 1, digits are to the right of the decimal point, can be written in fraction form by writing a fraction with a numerator that consists of the whole number formed by all the digits of the decimal number to the right of the decimal point, and a denominator that has the power of 10 of that corresponding rightmost digit. For example, a denominator of 100 corresponds to hundredths. Okay, what does that mean? Got some examples here we can take a look at. Change each decimal number to the fraction in lowest terms. Okay, notice we got 0.25. Okay, notice this 5 right here is in the hundredth place. So we come over here, we can write this as 25 100ths. Notice that we can go ahead and divide by 4 on everything, divide by 25, and then we get 1/4. Okay, here notice we got 32 hundredths. Okay, 32 hundredths. See the corresponding thing there? Do the math on that. Notice we can divide everything by 4 when we simplify everything, and we get 8 25ths. Okay, let's do some other ones here. I've got 131 thousandths. So let's come over here and just rewrite it exactly how it sounds. 131 thousandths, because right here we're in the thousandth place. So I put 131 all over 1,000. Okay. And this one right here can't simplify anymore. Okay, let's look at this other one. I've got 0.75 1,000th. So once again, this is in the thousandth place. So I can write this as 75, don't worry about that 0 there, 1,000th. Okay, notice I can also though divide everything by 25. Okay, and when I do that, I don't have 75 1,000ths, I got 3/40th. Okay, so we can see that 3/40th is the same thing as 75 1,000ths, and they would both simplify or turn into this fraction right here, this decimal right here. Let's continue on. Okay, notice, change 2.6 to a mixed number with the fraction in the lowest terms. Okay, 2.6. Well, we've got 2 here. That's going to be a whole number. Okay, 6 here, well, that's in the 10th place, so that's going to be 6/10. Okay, but notice this guy right here, we can divide the top and the bottom by 2. So continuing on, we're going to get 2 3/5, and therefore that's how we would change that into a whole number. And then from here you can go wherever you want. You can go from here to an improper fraction, and then here in just a second I'm going to show you how to turn this into a decimal. Okay, continuing on, change 3/8 to a decimal. Well, let's remember that this right here is division, so this is the same thing as saying 8, okay, divided by 3. But notice I can't do that. 8 will not go into 3 any amount of times. So let's put a decimal here, and I'm going to bring it straight up. Okay, well, 8 will go into 3 0 times. Well, 0 times 8 is 0. Well, notice, can come here, and I can bring down the 3. Now we can add a 0. Okay, I'll bring the 0 down. Well, how many times will 8 go into 30? Well, it'll go in 3 times, giving us 24. Okay, well, let's come back down here. Let's do our subtraction. We got 10 minus 4, and it turns this to a 2. So that's going to be a 6, and then I can add another 0 and bring it down as well. So how many times will 8 go into 60? 8 will go into 60 7 times. And bring over my line here a little bit more. Okay, 7 times 8 is going to be 56. Okay, well, come in here. Let's go ahead and once again, let's do our math. Let's come here, get a 10, change that to a 5. This goes to a 4. Let's add another 0, bring it down, and put a 0 there. Well, how many times will 40 go into 8? Or sorry, how many times will 8 go into 40? Well, it'll go in exactly 5 times. And so 5 times 8 is 40, giving me a remainder of 0. Okay, so the decimal equivalent of 3/8 is 0.375. Okay, so let's look here. Notice here we have 7/12, and that's equal to 0.5833333, where the 3 dots called the ellipsis mean and so on, or to continue the pattern without stopping. Or if we agreed to round, we could write 0.583 to the nearest thousandths. But this means that this 3 right here is just going to keep going on and on and on and on and on forever. Okay, let me show you kind of what that means. Okay, so we got here, we're going to change 1/7 to a decimal number, and I've already got this kind of wrote out here to where we can kind of see it a little bit better. Okay, so we've got 7 divided by into 1, which we know won't go. Okay, so I'm just going to put a 0 here. Okay, well 0 times 7 is 0. So come here, put a 0. I'm going to here put 1, bring down a 0. Okay, 7 will go into 10 one time, so it's going to go right here. And don't forget your decimal. 1 times 7 is 7. So come here, I'll put 7, and then 10 minus 7 is going to be 3. I'll bring down this 0 here. In fact, I'm going to kind of put little dots here so I don't lose my space. 7 will go into 30 4 times, and that's going to give me 28. 28 from 30 is going to give me a 2. So now let's come back down here, and we're going to add another 0. 7 will go into 20 2 times. That's going to be 14. Okay, 20 minus 14 is going to be a 6. So let's come down here, bring down another 0 here. Okay, when we bring down another 0, we're going to see that 7 will go into 60. It'll go in 8 times. Okay, and that'll give us 56. Okay, well 60 minus 56 is going to give us a 4. So let's kind of keep coming down here, and then I'll put a 0 there. Okay, now I'm going to have, how many times will 7 go into 40? That's going to be a 5. Notice we keep getting different numbers, but okay, we go 5 times 7, okay, and we get 35. Subtract it off, I get a 5 there. Come down here, I'll bring on that very last one there, and I get a 50. How many times will it go in there? It'll go in 7 times. That gives me 49, and then I get a 1. Notice this 1. I almost lost room here, but notice that 1. Well, look what's going to happen. It matches. So what's going to happen here is this part right here is going to start repeating over and over and over again. Okay, so we could either write this as 0.142857 and then put a line like that. And that just means that this line right here, that means this is going to be repeating forever. This little sequence of numbers right here will just keep going and going and going. It'll keep doing this process. So let's come here and do another one here. Okay, find the sum of 10 1/2 plus 7.32 plus 5 3/5. Okay, depends on really how you want to do this. You come here and go, well, do I want to turn everything to a decimal, or do I want to write everything as a fraction? Well, notice they kind of help you out by saying, put this all in decimal form. Okay, well, notice the 1/2 here. Okay, we don't have to worry about the 10. Let's just come in here and worry about the 1/2. So I've got this 10, but if I come in here and go 2 divided by 1, okay, well, I can't do that, but I can put a 2 divided by 10. So 2 into 1 is 0, 0. Bring down the 1, bring down the 0. 2 into 10 is going to be a 5. So notice I've got 0.5. So this is going to turn into 10.5. Plus, I got this 7.32. Okay. Plus, I got the 5. But how about this 5? How about this 3/5? Well, let's come to the other side and go, well, it's 5 divided by 3. Well, I'll put a point, put my decimal there. Notice this is going to be a 0. I'll come down, I'll put the 3 there, throw in another 0, bring that down, and then I can go and go 5 will go into 30 6 times, giving me a remainder of 0. So here's going to be a 0.6, so I have 5.6. Now I can just add all these up. So I got 10.5, 7.32, notice I'm lining up my decimals. I got 5.6, okay? And if you need it, I can go ahead and throw in some zeros here, so that way you can see that everything's lined up. And let's go and add everything up. I've got 2 here. Okay, here I'm going to have 6 and 3 is going to be 9, so that's going to be a 14. Carry the 1. 7 and it's going to be 8, 5, it's going to be a 13. And then this is going to give me 23. Bring down your decimal. And so this in decimal form is going to be 23.42. Okay, let's do a couple more examples here so we've got it going. Determine which is larger, 3/16 or 0.18. How much larger is the larger number? So probably the easiest thing to do here would probably be going to change everything over to a decimal and then just do our subtraction. So let's come over here, come off to the side, and we've got 16 divided by 3. Well, that's not going to work. So I'm going to put a decimal here, bring it up, put a decimal there. 16 will go into 3 0 times. Well, once again, we get a 0 here, bring it down, 3, put a 0 here, and then bring it down, put a 0. Okay? Well, 16 is going to go into 30 just one time, which is going to give us 16. Okay, let's subtract off. This is going to give us 14. Put another 0, bring it down, and that's going to give us 140. Okay, well, 140 divided by 16 is going to give me 8. Okay, so 16 times 8 is going to give me 128. And then I can do subtract 140, and that's going to give me a 12. Put another 0 here. I can come on down and put down 120. Well, how many times 120 divided by 16 is going to give me a 7. 7 times 16 is going to give me 112. And then subtract that from 120, and I get an 8. And I could keep going with this, but notice I've gone a little bit further than what I need to right here. So let's start comparing these two now. I've got 0.187, and then I've got 0.18. Well, notice here to here, those are the same. Then I've got the same. Then these are the same. Well, here, this is just like having a 0. And notice the 7 is larger. Okay? And then also, if I decide to subtract these out, okay, I can see that this is my larger one here. Well, if I start doing the math on that, I can go, okay, sorry, that's not the larger one. I'm very sorry about that. That this 3/16 is larger. Well, how much larger? Well, let's go and do the math on that. I've got 0.187 subtracting 0.18. Okay, notice I'll just bring down the 7, and this all goes to 0. So that's how much larger it is. 7 1/1000ths, okay, of whatever type of unit you want to use. Okay, and that's how we will compare decimal numbers.